Hello Saxo fans, episode 45. Now this episode is going to be coming probably a little bit out of sequence because we've been doing all the boost pipey stuff in the past few episodes. We're going to come back to that in episode 46, but something's come along that actually I really wanted to get in and talk about, and it's going to help me obviously move things on a little bit faster. So there's going to be maybe some continuity issues that you might see popping up, but we'll just gloss over that for now. Anyway, it's all about clutch actuation, let's call it that, and how you move your clutch release fork or your clutch release bearing fork in and out. Now, if you've gone to a BE box, in my mind, and somebody will probably tell me of more options, but you've got three options, or now there's three options. There's the full hydraulic route, brilliant, that's great, but reasonably complex. And then there's the BE clutch cable and a couple of brackets, which is what's on the table here, and we'll go into that in a second. And then option number 3 is what I've been given here in this box of goodies, and we'll go through that as well in a sec. So a bit of backstory. I knew that when I wanted to go BE box that I was going to stay down the cable route, so essentially what was here. The problem with doing that is there's no off-the-shelf option. There's no, I'll just buy that bracket, buy that cable, fit, done. No, it doesn't work that way. You need to fit a cable that's probably about best part of, I don't know, 1.5 foot too long, maybe 2 feet too long. So the routing of the clutch cable is just it never sits comfortably, let's put it that way. And then obviously you need to modify one of the little brackets that you get, essentially sort of move this around a little bit, whatever. So that, none of that really, it does work, and I'm sure it's well tested and well proven, but it's not an elegant solution, if you like. Anyway, so a guy called Steve, I've mentioned a number of times on my my videos. Steve built my turbo manifold. He's been working with Satchell Engineering. Now, if you know Saxos and 106s, you'll know Satchell. They developed the Sat Shift, which is just an epic bit of kit, and if you haven't got one, you need one. So anyway, Steve has been working with them about optimising a better BE setup than what's already available. So they worked through a bit of a prototype, and Steve's been doing sort of some of the guinea pig work. And I got wind of that. Steve sort of said, this is what we're working on. It's obviously going to be an off-the-shelf option. And as soon as I saw some of the pictures and the videos of it sort of, you know, dummy testing on a box on the floor, I was like, yeah, that is for me. I just need that in my life. Anyway, so I sort of waited and waited for, you know, things to sort of move on and the development to happen. And it's got to a point now where actually my car is not far off, let's face it, we're nearly there, aren't we? So, but the one thing I haven't had is this shifter mechanism that Satchell have developed. And it's sort of, it hasn't held me up because there's obviously still loads to do, but now it's here, I feel like it's something I really want to get on. Anyway, so spoke to Satchell and I said, look, I'm building this, and they were vaguely aware of my car. They'd seen some of the YouTube, and they said, look, we'll give you a prototype, go and fit it, go try it, give us some feedback, see what you think. And they were absolutely legendary. They'd give it to me for free. Obviously, you know, I'm not affiliated with anybody. I don't have any sponsorship or anything like that. So Tony and Colin at Satchell have been brilliant, said, look, just go try it. You know, no cost. Can't promise, obviously, it's going to be perfect because it is a prototype. But yeah, so what we'll do is we'll go through an unboxing in a minute. But this means the biggest advantage of this, not only does it look trick, it means you can get rid of all of the stuff that you sort of have to customise and all the drawbacks of this. And you can just use an ordinary Saxo VTS clutch cable, which is like, you know, an off-the-shelf part. So, yeah, enough waffle. Let's get into sort of some of these and unbox that. Right then, so this was the clutch setup that I always intended to fit. I did actually fit this clutch cable to the car. I was very fortunate in that when Steve texted me about this and told me this kit was under development, I hadn't actually fitted the engine yet, so which means changing the clutch cable for me was a doddle, you know, but I can imagine that changing a clutch cable with all the engine in, yeah, it might be a bit of a pain. But anyway, so what I've done is taken out the original Zara Picasso line that I had, and I've fitted a brand new, just a normal Saxo VTS clutch cable, standard, nothing different about it, completely original. So that's in the car now, and the beauty of that is it's the original length. So yeah, there's no sort of looping this around and trying to find a good route for it because it's miles too long. Steve even sort of made me up a little nylon bush to try and help shorten it, and I'm sure that would work a treat. But anyway, so that's come off. I've also swapped out the clutch arm, the release bearing arm. Essentially the same design, but one that is it's actually completely filled in here, and I've drilled a 10mm hole because I knew that I needed to, and it's the shorter version. So don't need that anymore, so I've swapped that out. And of course the little bracket that essentially holds, you know, some part of this cable over here somewhere. I think it sort of went on there and goes onto the gearbox, and I modified this bracket to suit. So yeah, none of the sort of cutting and shutting needed with that. So this kit essentially is now surplus to requirement. You know, it would still work, it's just not as good, I don't think, as what's coming. So what we'll do is we'll go through unboxing this and seeing what the new stuff looks like, and then we'll fit it to the car. Right, so as I say, genuinely have not seen this. I've opened it, saw it was all wrapped up, and I thought I'd do this on camera. So let's bust her open and see what she looks like. So it's all been freshly powder coated, it's ready to go. So I genuinely don't know what to expect from this. I've seen videos of the early prototypes, but not the later ones. Well, there we go then, unboxing complete, I should say. So, well, first impressions, it looks beautifully made. It's all pre-assembled. I don't know in the final versions if Tony and the guys at Satchell will deliver these pre-assembled like this in the ones that will go on sale. They've been very kind to pre-assemble this for me, which means I haven't got to figure it out myself. I mean, it's all beautifully made, you know, laser cut parts, freshly powder coated in a colour that I'm happy with, you know, all fresh hardware, it's all rose jointed. Yeah, the welding looks great, just, yeah, beautiful, spot on. You couldn't ask for more, really. So the next thing really is to try and figure out how this absolute maze of brackets and linkages goes together on the car. I've got some videos and some pictures and stuff that I can look at from Steve's early prototype work, so I will go and reference those and yeah, try and slot this on the car. Now, if you noticed in my intro, I'll spin you around, I have actually gone back a little bit with the car just to get all this fitted and to show you. So forgive me, episode 46, which is coming very soon, is actually going to be all a little bit out of sync really, because I've done some more work when I haven't got this. And it will suddenly just appear. Anyway, so yeah, I've gone backwards just to give you a really good view of hopefully how this goes on to the gearbox. As you can see, I've got my clutch cable, which has been flapping around here for months. Obviously always it was intentional. I knew this was in the works. Let me just show you the shortened gear lever, release lever, clutch release bearing. So you can see this one here. So I've already drilled my little 10mm hole in there, knowing that I was going to have to do that. So what I'll do is I'll reposition, reference the pictures, and we'll come back to a fitting. Right, so I've got it loosely, I've just literally laid it on top at the moment. And it looks like I need to undo a few of the gearbox casing bolts to get this in. So let's just run you through that. So this is what I think at the moment. Obviously I've got no instructions, just a few pictures of some early prototypes. So I need to obviously bolt it here, that's pretty obvious. There's a bracket just down here, I think, that goes on where these two studs are. Well, they're bolted, they're bolts with studs on top, so I think it goes, I'm not sure if it goes on top of those in a nut or underneath those. I suspect it goes underneath. So I'll take those two out. The rest of the links are all fine. And then I think there's a bracket, this bracket here, again, I think the two casing bolts, one there and that gold one there, they need to come out and it goes underneath those. And then there's two bolt holes on top of the gearbox there that obviously supplied bolts for, and obviously it goes through this part of the gearbox casing here which there's a bolt supplied for. So just laying it on top, that's where I think it all goes. Obviously this bit here is the bit that gets actuated with the clutch arm when it's all bolted up. So let me undo, I think it is the 4 bolts off the casing that I need to do, and I'll slot it in position and we'll see what that looks like. Right, so I've just split the contraption in half just a little bit, just to make my life a little bit easier briefly. I did just make one error in that I thought it was the bottom bolt here and that one, but it's not, it's actually that one and that one. So yeah, I've just put that one back in and taken these out. So let's fit the bottom half first and see if we can get that to sort of all align correctly. So I'm just going to put everything in loose for now, I'm not going to do anything tight. Once it's all fitted and in place, then we'll torque everything down properly. So that's all gone in really nice. And then I guess undo the bolt here. There's obviously some adjustment in it as well. And put that through here. And then we've got some adjustment on this as well, which is a bonus. So again, I'll keep all this loose for now, but the little nylon ball obviously fits into the clutch fork really nicely. So you can see as I'm tightening that in, actually it's bringing the bracket in and out. So there's obviously some adjustment in that. So I'll leave that sort of roughly where it is, but basically that bottom half, yeah, looks like it fits really nice. So top half, very simple, it's just 4 bolts on here, and obviously the only thing I need to then do is put that rose joint back into one of those holes. So we'll get that in place and we'll bolt that down. Right, top bit in then. So this is obviously very tightly toleranced, but she goes in nice. I'll leave that up there for now. But yeah, that I think is roughly in the right position. Let's get some bolts in it. Right, that's all the bolts in, albeit all very loose at the moment, and I have just popped the rose joint back in here and put the bolt through it, but you can see everything's loose at the moment, so everything's where it needs to be. So I'll spend the next few minutes and just button everything up, get everything tightened down, and then we'll figure out how the cable comes through. But essentially, as a working principle, this is your pivot point for the cable, which you would have had like on an original MA gearbox. It's sort of similar sort of shaped bracket. And then as you pull back on this through the pedal, obviously it pulls up through here, and then this pulls in that direction and actuates the clutch. So that's the working principle. When it's all buttoned up and tight, I'll bring you in close so you can actually see what it all looks like, and then hopefully we'll see if it works. Well, that's everything bolted down. The only thing I haven't really done is the adjustment for the final position of the cable. Obviously need to get the cable in, but all of the rose joints are tight, the mounts are all done tight. So essentially it's actually bolted to the gearbox in, I think, 7 positions, so it's not going anywhere. But you can see I've roughly just sort of popped my cable. If I just put it roughly into position, so you can see that's where that's going to go. This will obviously bolt through here. Obviously I'll sort that out in a second, but yeah, it's all bolted in now. So I'll sort the cable out, and then hopefully we'll get some clutch movement for the first time. Let's do that. Right, that is everything buttoned up, so cable's in, So I've wound it all the way down now. I haven't tested that. I just sort of feel like as a brand new cable, that's probably where it should be. Obviously nicely in the bung at the back there. You know, these are all of the cable parts, the rubbers, the bolts, everything. They're all original Saxo parts, you know, off the shelf. I've just done up the tension here. So this is essentially pulled nicely into the clutch fork. As I haven't tested this yet. And then the adjustment here on this arm, I've just literally sort of set roughly in the middle. So yeah, there's obviously a little bit of potential sort of tweaks and things to do, but I mean, as a device, I mean, it looks tricky as you like. So anyway, what we'll do, let's position the camera and we'll get a bit of a test. Obviously, it's the first time I've ever even thought about moving the clutch since it was all installed, so I really hope it's going to work. Anyway, so let me do that. Right then, that's it. So fully tested. Well, I say fully tested, I mean obviously statically it's all done. I'll do final adjustments when it's running, but it feels to me like there's lots of adjustment in it. Obviously you can adjust your length of bite point here, and you've got a bit of tweaking in the arm here. You've got tweaking in the arm here. So, and also you can move the pivot point in 3 different positions here as well. So feels to me like there's lots of adjustability to obviously suit sort of where you like the clutch pedal bite to be. And obviously I won't know that until the car's sort of up and running and driving properly. But yeah, I mean, I'm really happy with it. I mean, it went on straight away, no modifications, literally bolted in, easy peasy, pretty self-explanatory. I mean, really happy with it. I think the guys at Satchell should be, you know, delighted that they've developed something that works off an original Saxo cable. The only concern that I have now is if all the other things I've put in around this area will fit. So hopefully it's the case, and obviously that's probably my next step, is to refit all of my front end and make sure that the boost pipes and everything that I've manufactured aren't going to be in the way. But I knew that roughly this was coming in this sort of shape, so hopefully the things that I did will be okay. But we'll get to that in the next episode. But I want to say thank you to Colin and Tony at Satchell Engineering for developing this and giving me the opportunity to test one of them for them. I'm not sure when they'll be for sale, but as soon as they are, obviously I'll let people know. But I'll put a link in the description to the Satchell website. Go and have a look, talk to them, give them a bell. They've got some amazing stuff on their website, and yeah, just brilliant. And obviously the development for these cars is obviously still going in the background, you know, despite the fact they're, you know, over 20 years old now. So, but anyway, I'm going to leave this episode here, and hopefully the next one, episode 46, will probably be, yeah, a week or so away, because like I say, I was most of the way through it. So we'll see what happens with that one, but you'll see this suddenly appear maybe about 3/4 of the way through the next episode. So again, forgive any continuity errors that you might see. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this one. Like I say, something a little bit different, and we'll see you in the next one.